So with the same resolve, we will, hand in hand, help Ukraine rise from the ashes. That's the idea behind the reconstruction platform that I proposed to President Zelensky. You remember that yesterday, in his speech here in Davos, he recognized the unprecedented unity of the democratic world, the understanding that freedom must be fought for. So the rebuilding of Ukraine also calls for an unprecedented unity. As President Zelensky said, the work that has to be done is colossal. But together, we can and we will master the challenge. And that is why I have proposed this reconstruction platform to be led by Ukraine and the European Commission, because we will combine reform with investment. The same is true for the diversification of our gas supply. This is another pillar of Repower EU. As we speak, Europe is concluding new arrangements with reliable, trustworthy suppliers all over the world. In March, I agreed with President Biden to significantly step up LNG deliveries from the United States to the European Union. The amount will replace around about 1/3 of the Russian gas we have today. More LNG pipeline gas will also come from the Middle East and North Africa. New LNG terminals in Greece, in Cyprus, and in Poland will soon become operational, as will new interconnectors. And important is that the connecting pipeline infrastructure will then, over time, form the core of our hydrogen corridors. Hydrogen, ladies and gentlemen, is the new frontier of Europe's energy network. And Russia has tried to put pressure on us, for example, by cutting the energy supplies, the gas supplies of Bulgaria, Poland, and now lately Finland. But this war and this behavior we see has only strengthened Europe's resolve to get rid of Russian fossil fuel dependency rapidly. The climate cannot wait, but now the geopolitical reasons are evident too. We have to diversify away from fossil fuels. We have set our course already towards climate neutrality, so now we must accelerate our clean energy transition. For years now, the people of Ukraine have worked for change. And that is why they elected Volodymyr Zelensky in the first place. The reconstruction of the country should combine massive investment with ambitious reforms. For example, to modernize Ukraine's administrative capacity, to firmly establish the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary, to fight corruption, get rid of the oligarchs, to build a fair, sustainable, and strong, competitive economy, and thus to firmly support Ukraine in pursuing its European path. Ukraine belongs into the European family. Ukrainians have stood tall in the face of brutal violence. They have stood for their own freedom, but also for our values and for humanity. So we stand with them, and I think this is a defining moment for all democracies on the whole globe. For the first time in history, the European Union is providing military aid to a country under attack. We are mobilizing our full economic power. Our sanctions and the self-sanctionings of companies themselves are draining Russia's economy and thus draining the Kremlin's war machine. Our member states are caring for 6 million Ukrainian refugees, and actually there are 8 million internally displaced people in Ukraine itself. And in parallel, Ukraine needs direct budget support now to keep the economy running. It's about pensions, it's about salaries, it's about the basic services that have to be provided. And therefore, we have proposed a 10 billion euros macro-financial assistance. It is the largest package of macro-financial assistance ever conceived by the European Union for a third country. The playbook of Russia's aggression against Ukraine comes straight out of another century, treating millions of people not as human beings, but as faceless populations to be moved or controlled or set as a buffer between military forces, trying to trample the aspiration of an entire nation with tanks. This is not just a matter of Ukraine's survival. This is not just an issue of European security. This is putting our whole international order into question. And that's why countering Russia's aggression is a task for the entire global community. Ukraine must win this war. And Putin's aggression must be a strategic failure. So we will do everything we can to help Ukrainians prevail and retake the future into their hands.